right, everybody. Welcome to the new millENIUM podcast. I'm your host, Brian Millman. And, bros, I just want to tell you, I don't know what the hell happened, but for some reason, part of the interview of me and Miss Martha got clipped. I don't know why. It's a Samsung phone, bros. I have no idea, bros, why in the hell it got clipped. There was more to this interview that I'm going to play. There was like a few minutes more. I think that I get the majority of it, so I'm gonna play it for you anyways, guys. Um, um, I don't know. She said a whole lot of important things. She came in, or I went to her house, and she, just talked about the things that Daryl had talked about because Daryl was on my show recently and he completely bombed. They didn't like Daryl because he was stuttering. I didn't even notice it, bro. I was just listening to it because he was talking about NXTV, and that's something that he's going to be the commissioner, and we didn't get to talk about that, me and Miss Martha. Naming him the commissioner. We didn't get to talk about Gorgon, but there's just so much to cover. And Miss Martha has just done such a great job of being the commissioner here in XTV. I had something to tell you guys, bro. I just been smoking good weed. It's been so crazy. It's just been a crazy weekend, guys. We're dealing with issues with transportation and everything, and it's just been hard. But everything's been working out so far. Glad you guys are tuning in to the new millENIUM podcast, where I have nothing but the top guest and the top quality, interviews for you guys because I like to talk about things that, I find interesting. There's going to be so much more coming up, bros. Again, I want to apologize ahead of time. I have no idea, bros, when the hell happened, but I really think that you're going to love this interview with Miss Martha. And I also know something that you're going to love. You're going to love the surprise that I have for you at the end of this show, bro. There's a special surprise, a brand new podcast, bros. A brand new podcast is coming to XTV, on the XTV East Coast channel, but you have to wait until the end to find out what it is, bros. It's huge. A new person on XTV East Coast is going to be joining the list of podcasters, which is myself and Justin, and there's another guy who's going to be having interviews right here on the East Coast channel. You'll never guess who it's going to be, bros. I'm excited about it. It's going to be good stuff. But right now, I'm going to play this interview with Miss Martha. So, it's like, I had, Dairo here. It's just so funny. Oh, bro. Can I say it? You can say it. It's all right. Bros, Miss Martha is so high. She keeps on laughing because I keep on telling her how Daryl had bombed on my show. Because he was stuttering. I got him high, bro. He was like super high and his face was all red. It's crazy, bro. I didn't think that people were going to hate it that much. They didn't even listen to him. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. And that's why I'm here on his behalf. Because we have super important news, bro, and it concerns the future of XTV, like totally, bro. It's like a whole new idea, exactly. And I think that one thing that excuse me, that Dairo didn't mention is that not only is NXTV gonna be a huge thing in wrestling, but it's going to be a huge thing all around, because what we want to do is we want to provide everyone with opportunities that were afforded to people like the Killer and other people who were trailblazers. So it doesn't have to be wrestling that these new stars are coming up in, but many things. And that's what XTV wants to provide. And we're doing everything that we possibly can to be ahead of ourselves so that when the big boom does come, we're not flabbergasted by the whole situation. That's really cool, bro. Like, it's really interesting that you guys have this idea about NXTV, but tell everybody like kind of like what that is, and okay, well, and in a few words, NXTV is going to be its own brand. It's going to be like kind of a spinoff of the Bricks. And what we're going to provide is everybody an opportunity, sort of a first look of what everybody is going to be doing. All the new talent will have to first go through NXTV. No, there are going to be no new faces on the roster because everybody knows that the main roster is just so jam packed with so much great talent, and there's just so many people who are well established and perfectly suitable to fill up all the slots in the main roster, and that's what makes XTV so great, that there's all these different types of people who are really good at what they do, and they also have namesake and name value. And that's what's very important to XTV. It's important that people are able to establish themselves before they get in here, because it's a scary, scary place. And people know that. And so with NXT, we provide the newer talent and even some of the older people who haven't quite gotten their break. And it's a place that you can reestablish yourself and get known. It's going to be taken very seriously. And Daryl mentioned that. It's just so crazy, bro. Like, the influx of talent that's coming in right now. I mean, so many people are just coming in so fast and getting over it. Yes, and that is a wonderful thing. We are very proud of that. And we want to make sure that these people are able to continue to grow and continue to embellish that. Because on NXTV, they'll have a place to show their face and show their talent no matter what they are doing. They can be a part of the in-ring competition. We can have people as announcers. We can have people as timekeepers. We can have people as ring announcers, interviewers, backstage segment, capturers, or what do they call them, like journalists, and different things of that matter. So there's room for everybody to work in NXTV. And you say it's like a spinoff of the Bricks. Kind of clue people in on like what you mean by that. Well, what I mean by a spinoff of the Bricks is that instead of it being, all of the mainstream talent, it's not just going to be that, but there's also going to be provided a whole lot of the new guys. There's going to be a whole lot of the new guys, but a whole lot of your old favorites. We're not just going to just, bombard everybody with new faces, because familiarity is, a whole lot of the times the key to something successful. You look at a whole lot of companies who have things that are little symbols or a sound or anything, and that's what makes something successful. Even when you listen to a modern day song, it's something about it reminds you of something from the past, and that's because these songs know how to take these little tidbits and remind you of something that you loved at a earlier time in your life, whether it be as an adolescent or in your teens or whenever, and it just takes that and fills you with that joy, and it brings it back to modern day. And that's what NXTV is. It wants to provide. It wants to provide that old school wrestling feeling that sort of the WWE provided when you would watch their programming, and it just felt like watching wrestling. And Ernest would come back all the time, and he would tell me about how he just had that great feeling of, he felt like he was on Monday Night Nitro, when he was a part of the WWE, because of the schedule and just the upkeep, and every week was wrestling, and it's just so fun, and you can really get into it, and you get into the storylines, and you get into the characters and the people, and you start to care about them, and that's what we're going to provide. Just from your perspective, Miss Martha, like, what do you think are going to be some of the stars who can benefit from this type of thing? Well, that's a great question, millENIUM. I really feel like a lot of people may take this my invite to them to NXTV as disrespectful, and I absolutely do not mean that. It's absolutely the opposite. It's I see that a whole lot of people who are so talented, and they're so driven, and they have so much potential, and they just get squatted on, and it's not right. And so, what we want to provide for them is a place where they can show their talent again and just say, hey, I'm somebody who is a formidable opponent or a formidable talent. It doesn't have to be redundant. And so, I feel like somebody like the best, who my husband always picks on, and it's not fair because you guys have come through the same type of group, and he deserves more respect. And Ernest knows that. Now, I know what the best did, and I know that bad, dirty word that he said. But at the same time, he deserves a chance to be forgiven. And best, I feel like, if you come to NXTV, you will be a major star. Excuse me. You will be a megastar. In NXTV, you can be the main eventer. You can show people that you are as good as, or maybe potentially even better than Bob. Because I've seen you and I enjoy your matches. I enjoy your work. Ernest enjoys your work. We are all fans of you. And what happens, millENIUM, in XTV is that people get this idea that just because one person or two people are saying a particular thing about somebody, that it's gospel, and it's not. It's bullying. It's downright bullying. Mm-hmm. It's true though. It's like you know you mentioned that word, and people don't think about what they're saying when they're saying it, and people like yourself and Grandpa Joe, they're you guys are trying to have this anti-culture where everything is not about like the the same old way of XTV. Exactly, it's something new. And it's something that people can thrive on. People like Destruction, who was a major star in the WWE. If he is at all interested in becoming a part of that, I think that he could tell wonderful stories because he has that he's been to the dance before. A person like Destruction can be somebody who is a formidable opponent for the best. I think people would love to see that as a headline today because of how great both of those gentlemen are in the ring. And we plan on making NXTV absolutely nothing like XTV. The look is going to be different. The feel is going to be different. The announcers are going to be different. I plan on bringing Terry Williams as one of our main play-by-play guys. He has extensive knowledge of all people in XTV. He's from the XTV Observer, and they get a first look at a whole lot of the potential who are potentially coming to the roster. Yeah, and Daryl was talking about those guys like, they were like really some interesting names that he had brought out. I mean, who are some of those who you see are great potentials for XTV? Well, first and foremost, Renee Young is so lovely, and we're very excited to have her here as a part of XTV. I think that she adds a different style, a different flavor, and a different tone, and she's a person who I feel like can be one of the main announcers who, like Lillian Garcia was. God bless her heart. She recently retired, and she did great things for both WWE and XTV for many years. She did a great job, and she was able to withstand and keep her role. And I feel like Renee Young is also doing a great job, and it seems like to me a natural progression. And I think that she would thrive in NXT as a main announcer, and she could really shoot up to the main ranks very fast. I believe she already is. I was gonna say that. Like I think she already is. I think she's already a huge success. And it's just like the Monsters kid. They call him Corey Jr. He just recently has been renamed Corey Jr. Yeah, and Bob has been putting him over like huge. And it's like, he put him over on my show, he put him over on Romy's show, and it's like, kind of when you get that seal of approval from Bob, that's like, that's usually something that, stamps you right away. Exactly, and who knows, how many talents he has. He's clearly somebody who can entertain. He's clearly somebody who can steal the show by just coming in and lighting up the room. And I want to provide that space for him. I feel like, instead of him just jumping on the main roster, if he's even interested in doing so, I feel like instead of him jumping directly onto the main roster, try out in NXTV, get your moveset down, get your characters down. And this goes out to everybody, all the new rookies, here, and some of the older people who I'm sure we'll talk about. But, get your stuff down. Master your craft. Because you're all talented. And it's up to you to look inside of yourselves and say, you know what? I'm as good as any of those people who are top competitors in XTV. It's just always weird when you say NXTV because people think you're saying inside XTV and not just the letter N. Yes, yes, we know about that, but we also feel like it makes sense because it is NXTV. NXTV is a branch off, so it is inside XTV. You know what I mean? We're just sitting here, we're lighting up, bros. I'm gonna light this blunt back up. It's really good. It is, bro. It's like it's from California. I got this song. Looking on the run, driving time is fun. Looking out for number one, California, here we come. Right back where we started from. Living on the run, trying to have some fun. Looking out for number one, California, here we come. Right back where we started from. That is really nice, Brian. Thanks, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna start a rock band, bro. It's gonna be so cool. I was even thinking about my gimmick. Like, I was thinking to have like a rock band kind of gimmick. Like I'd be like a leader of a rock band, like Chris Jericho, Fozzy, but I bring it to the main roster, and I have two guys with me. That would be so funny. I thought that you were gonna do like the list. I thought you were gonna do something along those lines. No, I thought about it, but I think that's like a thing for Tyree, who's another talent. Tyree's a wonderful talent. He's so funny, and Justin was behind him. And just because he started to get picked on, he stopped putting steam behind him. He's gonna be so mad about that. It's true, and you know what serves him right. Justin, he can dish it out as well as take it. We laugh so much inside of the house for him getting picked on so much. Yeah, Justin's the greatest. And so are you. You guys are like couple of the year. Oh, stop it. You guys are just like the greatest. I mean, you guys and Baby and LT. But I mean, tell us more about NXTV because I find it so interesting, and I think it's a great concept about what you guys want to do going forward. I mean, you have like so many new guys that are being signed. I heard guys and gals. Lighten it up, bros. I just love it. I just love it. It's like when Vince McMahon first started like being heel, and like they were hinting towards him being like sort of not just the announcer, but he's the boss, and they were acknowledging that he was the boss. And it's kind of like what's happening to you because Justin Jr. kind of put it out there. It's like, no, Miss Martha smokes as well, and it's like, now you're smoking on my show. It's so out there. He really exposed a whole lot, and I'm very, very, very proud of him. The way he has gotten himself over. He did it all alone, all by himself, and I have to thank also Romy Rome, who gave him a platform. Because knuckleheaded Ernest has has blackballed him, and he has a big voice, and he feels like he wants to put over who he wants to put over, and that's not fair because this is your son, and you know what? Justin Jr. doesn't want his help. He wants to do it all alone, and he's doing a wonderful job. And, he's another guy who you feel like, can be in the top ranks. I mean, do you see him going up against Best? You said that, Best is going to be your top guy and, potentially he can be a top guy. I didn't say he will be. I don't have any predisposed idea about who's going to be the number one person, who's going to be the heavyweight champion. But when it starts, the first thing that's going to happen to determine that particularly is there's going to be a 36-man tournament, and depending on the women, we're going to have a tournament with them, but I don't know the number just yet because the men usually outnumber the women, as you know. and there's going to be a 36-man tournament. It's going to happen over the course of a few weeks, and then we're going to have the finals, the final match at our first ever pay-per-view, where we're going to crown our first ever NXTV and men and women's champion. We're going to crown both of those. So that's the plan moving forward, to establish who is the best of the best of the best. So it's an opportunity for somebody to become champion, and and of something major. It's that there's notoriety right there, because we're saying you are our champion. And going back to your previous question, well, there's so many others. Chris Major is a person who comes to mind. Kareem Strong, David B-Boy, who I've talked to, and he called us. He actually talked to Darren, and he said that he didn't want to be a part of the main roster. And when he heard about what we were doing here, and he wanted to start over from scratch, he called us. He has an idea. I interviewed with him. He brought in a friend of his, who is named Sketch. He's a wrestler over in Blackpool, which is his hometown, and they're interested in becoming a tag team. And David looks at this as a chance to reinvent himself. He thinks that it's a great opportunity, and he's excited about working this way with us. And I'm excited about having him, because once again, like I said, there's room for people who are familiar faces, who haven't quite gotten that push. And this is a great way for him to separate him from his sister Roxanne, because as you know, she's thrived truly great. They've been on the show and they've talked about that. Just the difference in how they both got over. Exactly. They're two totally different individuals, and why not have these two on separate shows to be able to expose their talent? You don't get B-Boy on XTV. He's on NXTV, and it's almost like an entirely different program. And I feel like going back to GXT, it's even something like that, because you looked at that and it was this totally different thing, but that didn't work, because everybody just hit the ground running. And so that came out the way it did. But I feel like with all of this proper pre-preparation, that's a tough one. And with all this with all the preparation ahead of time that we're doing, I feel like it would be a whole lot more organized. I've just given you a few examples of how we're already ahead of the ball and how we plan on moving forward. We have already an idea of members of the roster, as I was just describing. Kareem Strong, a major name who we think can definitely thrive. And he's excited about coming aboard. I understand that he and his sister Jordan are going to be participating in my husband's podcast coming up very shortly. So you can look forward to hearing from him very soon, and I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about it. These guys and gals are working very, very hard, developing their skills, developing new ways to approach the business. And it's very exciting for all of us to just see the progress and see everything unfold.
Usual party, you stand alone and you wonder if you'd be heart skips a beat. You smile when our eyes meet. Soon you're headed my way, pen in hand. But I've got your number, Mr. Bum Boy. Why do you think I'm so paranoid? Any old girl will do for you. So you move like a helicopter at night, cutting through all the murky clouds. Do you light on a lone little target who hasn't seen you before? And once you catch her eye, there's no passing her by. Now she's all on her own in your hands. But I've got your number, Cluster Bomb Boy. Why do you think I'm so paranoid? Any old girl will do. Ooh. A girl wants to feel like a queen. You don't know what I mean. Cluster Bomb Boy. Usual party ends up at home, where you wait for the morning to be alone. Head on your pillow, where have you seen it before? Oh, I've got your number, Cluster Bomb Boy. Why do you think I'm so paranoid? Any old girl will do. Ooh. Any old girl will do. You think any old girl will do? Cluster Bomb Boy. Cluster Bomb Boy. Cluster Bomb Boy. Cluster Bomb Boy. Cluster Bomb Boy.
It's really great, because the main roster is the main roster, and everybody just goes in and we just do what we do, and that's kind of like the way it goes. That's what makes XTV thrive, because we just hit the ground running, as you said, and that style doesn't necessarily work for rookies that you're trying to get over. Exactly. Well said, Brian. I think that with this opportunity, a couple of females that I'm looking forward to bringing to the roster. You may have seen a couple times. I'm sure you've met Jacqueline. Oh yeah, she's so great, bro. She's a sweetheart, and I think that she has the mind for this. If you guys don't know, Miss Martha's talking about Jacqueline Briggs. Who is Jax's daughter. You probably saw her on the 2GN. She was so great on there. Killer was sticking it to her, and I talked to her after that, and she was just so excited about it. She got it up close from the guys, and she's like one of the first NXTV characters to get that taste of the main roster. To be amongst all the heavyweights. I mean, she was in there with the heavyweights. Yes, she was, and Ada and Yose are so good with her. They are great with explaining to the women that it is a cutthroat business. It's a cutthroat world, and it's something that you have to have tough skin for. And, Ernest taught me that very early. Once he started to clue me in on exactly what XTV was all about. And so I think that, Jackie will do a great job. And one person that hasn't yet had that light shined on her is Cassie, who is a bit more like her mother, Sonya Blade, who is a bit more, how do you say, she's a bit more of an extrovert. She's more talkative. She's more lively. She's more witty. She's more of that type of a girl. They're like almost polar opposites, but Jacqueline does, she can hold her own. She's just more reserved, and she's more of the sarcastic type. I did notice that about her. I think that they're both gonna do great. Cassie Cage, like you said, she hasn't had that exposure yet, but she's just got that charisma that definitely is could be a mainstay. And Sonya Blade, like back in the days, she didn't take that step, although she was a big deal, in Mortal Kombat and on the East Coast. She didn't really branch out to that superstar status that I think she could have. Yeah, and she took the Mortal Kombat route, which so many people did. Liu Kang and Johnny Cage, and just so many of the others, and they went that way, and more power to them. And even Cassie and Jacqueline, they both came up through that way, the Mortal Kombat style, and they came through there before coming here to XTV, a lot like their mother and fathers. So I said that to say that they're already prepared for. They already have tough skin. They're already prepared for anything. They already have the mentality. They're ready for war, and they're already characters. And here's a place that they can thrive. Yeah, but it's weird because like those type of characters. Although Jackie's is a unique kind of girl, and so is Cassie. Those type of stars don't always necessarily work out. I mean, you think about people like Johnny Cage, who was okay, but he didn't really completely get like all the way over like that. And then there was people like Sagat, from Street Fighter. He just really didn't thrive. Well, it's just an opportunity, and again, Millennium. It's just the whole point of NXTV. Those people that you're mentioning, they had came in, and they came in during the time that they didn't. There was no developmental. You either were good, you thrived, or you did not, and you were cut, and you were never heard from again. And really, that's unfair. But that's just the way it is. That's really nobody's fault. But to prevent those type of things from happening, people can get a chance. Somebody like Shima Sanshiro, who was a part of Team Yaki. She's good friends with him and Shadow. I believe she's from Korea, and she is an amazing talent who used to perform on the bricks. She had some main shows where she thrived very well, but she didn't get over the way she could have because she was not able to have a personality or have more to her character besides just the matchup. And so, you need an opportunity to be able to tell a story and make people care about you. That's what, people like Yosi and Ada and, so many others, 90%, Amen, my husband, and Killa, and, just so many of the greats. That's what they have. They have stories behind them. We know them for their stories that they've told. We remember their stories. They live in our hearts. They live in our minds forever. Yeah, it's true. It's like I was listening to Jazzmar's podcast, and he was talking with the ODD, and the ODD was talking about like to the West Coast. There's this episode of Abu the Monkey, like pre recording. We weren't even recording those, but they sort of remember those moments. They remember that moment, and it'll never leave them. Yes, and XTV's always creating those moments, and there's many avenues, and so we want to be able to create those type of moments for people all over the world, and not just us. And it starts with NXTV. That's so awesome. That's really good. Like I mean, I'm really excited about that. Like I don't even know where to go from that. I'm just gonna light up another blunt. Light it up, Brian. Light it up. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, bro. We're so high. I'm in Miss Martha's house. It's Saturday, bro. 4:05 p.m. Oh shoot! I have to go pick up Bob in a second. Oh, bro. Well, let me think. I mean, what more can we say about NXTV? It's kind of like, I guess we can sort of like put a ribbon on it, put a bow on it. Well, then to wrap it up, I guess what I could say. I hope I didn't leave out anybody, because there's lots of new talent. And I hope I didn't leave out anyone. But there's many people who are coming to the roster, and who are on the roster that are going to be a part of this, if they're willing to be. I would like to say I definitely extend my hand to members of the West Coast who feel like they have not gotten a chance to really thrive in XTV. And, my heart goes out to all of you. Anybody who feels like they have a chance, and they haven't gotten to that superstardom, because the main roster is also very important. And it's a way to keep the main roster very exciting. You have people who, if they're not getting over just yet, then they don't have to go through that, day-to-day battle. And it's like having an opportunity to go to a whole nother organization within an organization. Yeah, and it's like wrestling in general. It's sort of like going over back to the territory type of system. You see WWE has their NXT brand, and there's ROH, there's GFW. Booker T has one. He's got his organization. I can't think of the name of it right now. Just so many places to go. And it's cool that, XTV is deciding to expand. What are some of the places, though, also that new talent are going to be able to come up? I'm glad you asked that. Because we also want to bring back the athletic side of XTV. We want to bring back boxing. We want to bring back basketball. We want that to be a big thing. I've talked with Josh Villanueva very recently about coming back and just being a part of being XTV. I talked to many people. I talked to Zaza Pachulia, because although he had a rough time in XTV, he was something, and they made a song about, Wyclef Jean made a song about Zaza Pachulia. He's very special. He's a wonderful gentleman. And I feel like these guys can be the people who bring in the next influx of basketball stars. Little Killer, Little LT, a lot of the younger kids, they can be the basketball players, or the future basketball players. It's just an idea, but I just want everybody in XTV to have an opportunity to be somebody, to be, all that you are. You are all special. and you are all important to the brand. Each of you individually possess a uniqueness, a side, which is something that came about, many, many years ago, which is why it was called Sides. And you guys have... All right, again, sorry, bros. I just don't know what happened right there. For some reason, it just stopped recording, bro. It really pissed me off. I was just so fucking pissed, bro. When I found out, I'm like, it stopped recording. And Ernest, he warned me about this. He doesn't record on these. He records on the iPhone. But the iPhone, it clips up your stuff. Like, you can only record on 20 or 30-minute intervals. And, I sit there, I do mine different. Ernest has his studio where he can just sit there and he'll talk on the phone with a guest, or he'll just invite them inside of his studio. Mine's different because, I go to, actually go on location since I move around so much, bros. And, sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm not. I'm one of those kind of guys. So it's I just record the whole thing right there. I don't, it's not broken up in sections, so it's just weird. I don't understand why it stopped. Damn it, man. But anyways, enough of that. Hope you enjoyed Miss Martha. Thank you so much, Miss Martha, for coming out and being a part of my podcast and just bringing the information about NXTV. I mean, isn't that great? New guys, new stars, and a place to showcase them. I think it's gonna be great, bros. Whether or not everybody gets behind it at first, I think it's gonna be something that it's gonna be talked about, because she was saying that it's gonna be the new bricks, and one of the ideas is, oh crap, it's 4:20. It's 4:20 somewhere, bro. But on the New Millennium podcast, it's always 4:20. Anyways, speaking about NXTV and how it's going to be like the bricks, is because it's actually going to be episodic. It's going to be recorded. So, that's really cool. And as a matter of fact, I think we're going to sit here and watch the bricks, bro. I'm going to smoke weed and watch old episodes of the bricks. How about that? And as promised, bros, is it recording for this? Because this is huge. Hold on, let me take a puff for this. My fucking blunt's coming apart. My life is in shams, bro. Alright, are you ready? If you can find a drum roll sample editor, find a drum roll for this, bro. Because this is big news. The brand new podcast coming to the XTV East Coast Network is none other than... da-da! 006. That's right, bros. Alec Troffer is coming to XTV East Coast. He's gonna bring all his crazy stories, all his crazy antics. How entertaining is that, bros? The legend of XTV, one of the all-time greats, bros. You always think about Alec, all his old stuff when he was doing 006 with the dogs. And I think that like that type of stuff is some of his just greatest work. I mean, but over the years, I mean, he's just always been able to maintain this sort of just thing about him that to me he's just like a comic genius. He's one of the great comic geniuses in XTV. He's just one of the people that's got impeccable timing, and he's a lot like Justin in some ways, because he's just a great talker. He's got so many great stories, so many great things to talk about, because he's seen it and done it all. And he's going to be bringing podcasts to you along with myself and Justin. So I look forward to it. I look forward to being on the show one day, bros. You heard it right here on the New Millennium podcast, where I had Sally Troffer. Still to this day, bros, my top, my biggest podcast yet. It's been just great, bros. So shout out to Sally, shout out to Alec. Welcome to the podcast team. And until next time, bros, I'll see you guys later. Leave comments. Tell me, what you thought about this show. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. I know what I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that it got shut off. It was a great interview, bros, and they just cut her off. How disrespectful. Damn film songs. I should have listened to Justin. Until next time, bros, I'm Brian Millman. Tune in next time to the New Millennium Podcast, where here in the New Millennium, we're going to be in a new year. How about that? 2017, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Peace out, bros.
Download the New Millennium Podcast using the Torch browser. Go into Google and download the Torch browser, and then go into XTV